Tables and matrices in Lambda. Tables, as in the case above, or matrices, are not a strictly mathematical element. If we exclude precisely the tables that are so-called the truth tables that are used in logic, the tables are actually a way of organizing data and are used in many areas. In addition to the logic already mentioned, they are also used, for example, in statistics, with frequencies, or in general when you want to group data. The goal of the table is to scroll the data horizontally and vertically, and also have an immediate view of the relationship between the values, to read them crosswise. Each table, as well as the matrices, is made up of rows and columns. In this case, the first row is made up of 1, 2, 3, the second row ABC, the third row X, Y, Z, and columns. The cells are identified by exactly one row number and one column number. For example, the letter B is characterized in the second row and in the second column, as is done for naval battles. The linear management, as presented by Lambda of this element, is not exactly that easy. Let's see how to do it. First of all, the insertion. To insert a table, let's look for it inside Insert. In Insert, we find Tables. Let's select your table. Here, too, you can get there in various ways. Scrolling through the menu, or using the hotkeys with Alt. Then Alt, then I to go into the insertion, then T to go into tables, and then T again. Scrolling through the menu, here it is, we have the table. For the configuration, it is required, for example, the number of rows, the number of columns. And here you can choose, for example, we can make a basic 2 by 2 table, which can be increased or decreased. The interesting thing, as we will see later, is that, once the table has been inserted, it will always be possible to add, insert, or delete rows or columns. In the meantime, however, there is a starting configuration. By default, the last used configuration appears. I had previously inserted a 4 by 4 matrix. At this point, the same one is suggested. We instead choose 2 by 2. Let's go, for example, to insert numbers. We move with the arrows, 1 and 2, and then A and B. We immediately check with F4, and we see that the graphic display is given by these kinds of square brackets. But what matters is how it is possible to navigate the table horizontally and vertically. It is possible to do this using a special function, which is activated with the function key F10. Once inside with the cursor, a dedicated window appears. We have a menu, which allows you to add, insert, or delete rows and columns. We have the usual editing keys, so copy, paste, etc. We have the possibility to manage the calculator, and above all, the insertion function. It is interesting, because therefore in the tables it is possible to insert, as we did before, also with matrices, both text and mathematics. Therefore also possibly roots, logarithms, etc. At this point, it appears in the form as a spreadsheet table, to therefore have a decidedly more direct use. In the following educational videos, we will see how to use this structure for some specific mathematical operations, because here we simply talked about inserting and navigating, but then, we will be able to use matrices. For example, for the decomposition into prime numbers, to write the binomial coefficient, or use tables for the management of signs in the case of fractional inequalities, or in systems of inequalities.